Well, good morning, everyone. It's 9:01, and I will call the meeting to order. Good morning. My name is Bill Campbell, and I'm the president of Keystone Agricultural Producers. We appreciate you joining us this week for CAP's 38th annual meeting. Thank you for taking the time to be part of CAP's grassroots and democratic process. Over the next 2 days, you will hear from interesting and engaging guest speakers and updates on our work. Before we begin, I want to thank our corporate partner, Farm Credit Canada. CAP would also like to acknowledge that we are hosting this event from Treaty 1 territory, the original lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Métis Nation, and others participating in the meeting from other treaty territories, including Treaties 2, 3, 4, and 5. We acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past. CAP acknowledges our role in many relationships that make up our home and commits to the spirit of reconciliation and collaboration for the future. Before we get started, I'd also like to go over some of the housekeeping notes. This meeting will be recorded and available on CAP's YouTube channel. There will be no verbal roll call today. We will use the meeting participation list to keep a record of who attended. Please ensure your name on the screen is correct, full name and district or affiliation. You can do this by right-clicking on your name on the screen and selecting Rename. If you wish to speak during the meeting, please use the Q&A function in the Zoom, and staff or the chair will recognize you. A staff member will promote you to panelist, and you will then be able to unmute your microphone. Voting on resolutions will be done by using the polling function. Delegates will have 20 seconds to vote before the poll is closed. Each poll will be verified after the meeting to ensure voting accuracy, and the results will be announced tomorrow morning. If you are not a delegate, please do not use the polling function during resolutions. Delegates are defined group members and district members registered delegates, not including CAP board members. There will also be 2 calls for nominations for vice president today. Please use the Q&A function to nominate. Nominations for vice presidents may be made by nomination ballot given to the general manager or be made from the floor. The nominees must approve nominations verbally or in writing. Nominees must be members of the advisory council, elected or appointed in accordance with sections 5.14 and 5.15 of bylaw number 1. At this point, I would like to have the approval of the agenda as presented in the package. I will entertain a motion to accept the agenda.
And someone can use the chat function, Bill, to signal that. So we can get someone to put the motion forward and a seconder through the chat function.
I'm not seeing any other.
I believe we have a seconder. We just need a mover. All right. So David Rourke will make that motion and Paul Gregory will second.
Thank you. All those in favor, I guess, or how will we?
It'll be all opposed.
All opposed. So what we will do is anyone opposed to the motion for acceptance as the agenda as presented. Seeing none, I declare that motion carried. The next motion I would entertain is to accept the minutes of the 37th annual general meeting of Keystone Ag Producers as presented in your packages.
And please again, use the chat function to.
Shannon Piziak has moved, and we just need a seconder.
Received. Anybody to second?
And Cal Penner will second from District 3.
Okay, thank you. Anyone opposed to the motion to accept the minutes of the 37th Annual General Meeting as presented? Hearing and seeing none, I declare that motion carried. Well, once again, I would like to thank everyone for joining us for CAP's 38th annual meeting this week. As I look back and reflect on 2021, resiliency is what comes to mind. CAP's board, staff, and membership have developed a deeper level of resiliency, which is what will carry us forward in 2022. Last year also served as a reminder of CAP's ability to bring agriculture together on key issues and how this is the foundation of our work. At every turn, we emphasize collaboration with farmers, commodity groups, and government. We know that farmers' issues are interconnected. No matter the commodity, we have a common interest and we all need to work together. At this point, I'd like to take a few minutes to recap some of CAP's work in response to the drought. Last summer, we consulted broadly to understand and address the challenges facing our industry. We focused on effectively coordinating a common approach and providing a unified voice on the critical issues facing agriculture. And it's an understatement to say that 2021 was a challenging year. Drought conditions impacted and will likely continue to impact farmers in every sector across Manitoba. Our priority was and continues to be on advocacy and education to ensure that the right information, support, and tools are available. By bringing together a drought coalition of our effective commodity group members, we delivered an effective message to government as we work together to find solutions. Our executive and staff met with provincial and federal decision makers, including Premiers Gertsen and Stephenson, along with Minister Peterson and Minister Eichler and Minister Bibeau, to share farmers' experiences and to advocate for assistance. CAP helped facilitate discussions and feedback on agri-recovery programs to support the livestock producers. This included approximately $150 million in the agri-recovery program. It also included CAP's work with the Canadian Federation of Agriculture with regards to a Hay West program. It's our understanding that forages are still available for producers in Manitoba. It also ensured that crop producers knew their options with drought-related crops. We also heard from our members that they want us to focus on education, which has been a big part of our work. And tomorrow we welcome MNP for a presentation on grain marketing and risk. We continue to work on the drought, focusing on medium and long-term needs through our discussions and consultations with the province and our partners. I do want to take a moment here to say that we appreciate the collaboration and commitment of commodity groups and all levels of government to address the drought. And thank you to Blaine Peterson and Ralph Eichler, former Ministers of Agriculture and Resource Development. Your foresight to recognize these challenges and the need for action is essential for today and well into the future. All the best to you as you go forward. Switching gears, I do want to address the growing concerns when it comes to transportation. We've been in discussion the situation with our partners in agriculture and trucking industries. We're all aware that farmers rely on an efficient, although strained, system to deliver products and receive shipments. Any challenges can seriously affect food security and the economic competitiveness of an individual operations. This is a message CAP has brought forward to decision makers, because the federal government has to ensure that farmers have timely access to domestic and international markets. Another issue that we've been working on involves private grade crossings. CAP has been lobbying the federal government to reduce the financial burden on landowners associated with maintenance and upgrades to private grade crossings. We were pleased that Transport Canada amended parts of the grade crossing regulations in November. This included the addition of low-risk grade crossing category that exempts most field-to-field crossings from majority of sections under the grade crossing regulations. These amendments really highlight the importance of working together to achieve results. On another note, last year, CAP continued to call for action on carbon pricing and education taxes. We recently met with Premier Stephenson and with provincial cabinet ministers to discuss Manitoba's path forward on both files. These issues have a serious impact on competitiveness of agriculture. Earlier this month, we reiterated our call for the provincial and federal governments to work together to find a solution to carbon pricing in Manitoba. Farmers are price takers and they can't pass on these costs to our consumers. While the federal rebate announced in December is a good step forward, our initial analysis and conversations indicate that it doesn't go far enough. We've been clear that in Manitoba, any plan, including an exemption on fuel used for drying grain and heating barns, and return all tax revenue earned from agriculture activities to the sector. We've also emphasized the need for an equitable model of education funding in Manitoba, along with our desire to see education property taxes removed from farm land. CAP has called on the provincial government to continue removing education property taxes to ensure a stable and competitive environment. We were pleased that the province began moving education property taxes in 2021, and that a review of Manitoba's education funding system is underway. Education funding is a long-standing issue for farmers, and we're looking forward to work on this issue with the province. As CAP approaches its 40th anniversary in 2024, I want to emphasize the fact that engagement is vital to our role as the voice of Manitoba farmers. We have a great team led by our General Manager, Brenna Mahoney. At the end of the day, it's on us as farmers. You can help chart the direction of the sector through CAP's policy committees, meetings, task force, and working groups. We need you to get involved, whether through these opportunities or by joining your local district. Delivering CAP's vision requires the effort of everyone around the table. It also can't be done without a group of dedicated staff. I would really like to acknowledge the work that our staff does. And until you have the opportunity to see the staff fulfill their roles, it is truly amazing the work that they do on behalf of our industry and our organization. So thank you from myself and the board of directors for your work. Please check out our annual report to learn about all of CAP's work in 2021. Biosecurity, CGC consultations, Class 1 licensing, and a variety of other things. And looking forward to 2022, there are many priorities that we must focus on as an organization. Advocacy, regulatory modernization, and engagement, and outreach are pillars of CAP's work. We're focused on 4 key policy priorities as an organization: BRM programs to support farmers, sustainability and the environment, economic development in rural Manitoba, and public trust in agriculture. All of this work needs to be supported through a strong organizational foundation. That's why our board of directors is undergoing a governance and bylaw review, and why the grassroots committee is evaluating CAP's structure. These are key elements of CAP's strategic plan announced at our last annual meeting, and as we plan for the years ahead. In closing, you are the driving force behind everything that CAP does, and your input is necessary to help CAP ensure a sustainable and profitable future for Manitoba farmers. We're all in this together, and in that spirit, we're ready to take on 2022. Thank you, and I look forward to taking your questions.
We're going to move to Neil for the first call for nominations for vice president.
Okay, I'm just going to promote Neil here.
Okay, I'm assuming everybody can hear me. Good morning, everyone. My name is Neil Galbraith, and I am the CAP Director for District 9. This will be the first of 2 calls for nominations for vice presidents. There are 2 positions available for vice president. If you would like to nominate a member for vice president, please raise your virtual hand and a staff member will unmute you. So pause for some time here to see if any nominations come forward.
Neil, you do have 2 hands. I'm going to start with Carter McKinney from District 1. Carter, go ahead.
I would like to nominate Jake Ayer for vice president.
Okay, thank you, Carter. Jake, are you willing to accept the nomination?
Yes, Jake Ayer, District 1, I accept the nomination.
Okay. The next person?
We also have Sam Connery-Nickel. Go ahead, Sam.
Hi, I'd like to nominate Jill Verway, please.
Okay, thank you, Sam. Jill, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I do.
Okay, are there any other nominations for vice president at this time?
We do have one more hand, Linda Nielsen, District 3. Go ahead, Linda.
Hi there. I'd just like to second the nomination for Jill Verway. She'd be an awesome candidate as she has been in the past.
Thank you, Linda. Any other nominations? Okay, we will be coming back in about an hour's time for the second call for nominations. So if there's any members out there that want to nominate somebody, they'll have a second chance. I'll turn it back over to the chair now.